Hello, tis I, Fat Cow, making a Foodie Beauty doll. You've seen a bit. Anyway, this is the continuation of the bit. I made the middle. It was huge. So I remade the middle using 4 things instead of 5, which made it definitely, without question, the shape of an American football or a rugby ball, depending on where you come from. Now I've been making tubes. Okay, I'm going to show you what to do with them. So you've got to imagine you've got a rugby ball, American football shaped middle. It's been stuffed, and that is the foundation shape, and I want to add pieces to it to get the body shape. Now I'm using tubes. This tube I have blocked off the middle bit, so when I stuff it, the middle is empty. Now when I stuff it, I'm only going to put some bits in each end, because this tube in particular is a very particular body part that comes in 2 bits. Yes, so it's stuffed almost. Okay, but I haven't filled it to the ends either. Okay, and here's the explanation. I get the tubes. I either make them that they go around the entire circumference of the American football, or part way, depending on if I want the shape to go round entirely towards the back and the front, depending on where the bumpage is, or if I want the bumpage to stop because maybe the back is a bit smoother than the front, let's say. So now you're going to have to use your imagination now, because most of the time the body shape doesn't make entire sense until you start putting clothes on it, and obviously the other bits of the attachment. Also, this is the basic shape for an arm, obviously without the hand. 2 pieces sewn together then stuffed, which will be attached. So here is the ball shape with various tubes running round them. This tube goes round the entirety. This tube goes round its entirety. This tube doesn't, because the back. Now firstly, just a little explanation. This is not the head. This is this bit, and the arms will go, when they're stuffed, either side there. Okay, but I don't put the arms on until after I've dressed it, because I can't make a dress that is an actual outfit in its entirety that you put on. What I do is I make this part of the dress and then add the arms with the dress material already on them separately. My dolls can't be undressed afterwards. The clothing is literally sewn on. Okay, got the undercarriage fupa. The legs are fat short tubes that are cut on a diagonal at the top so that they can fit better under the fupa. The ends are just gathered together. I've covered the back with some more covering to make it tidier, although I didn't quite manage to cover. So the tube I showed you is going to go What is that? Oh, it's a helicopter. Oh. Anyway, this is this bit with the shoulders from the arms. This, when I sew it on, flat, bump, bump, boobs. It's personal preference, but I sew with embroidery threads, mainly because I've got hundreds of the buggers, because I also embroider. But I will separate. An embroidery thread is obviously thicker, but it's made of 6 individual strands. So I sew basic sewing, which is just literally the sewing you use to attach one thing to another thing. I will use, see, I've pulled 1 strand from the strand of 6. So for sewing, when all you're doing is attaching things to things, I use 1. When I need it to be more sturdy, I use 2. When it's a stitch that will be seen, I use 2, because it's tidier in the way you stitch. And my recommendation for when you stitch to attach things to things is whatever works best for you, whatever will eventually be the strongest. There's no, magic anything. Whatever works. So I've basically just attached just like that, but as you can see there are gaps. There's no gaps here because it's been sewn together. The way I do it is using exactly the same stitch, okay, that I use when I'm trying to close a hole, and that is basically zigzagging from top to bottom. And this is also how I attach other large items, balls to balls, legs to legs. Balls to balls sounds really wrong. How I attach the head, and you do it underneath to underneath like so, and then obviously when you pull it, it attaches it. I don't go along the entire length and then pull when I'm attaching things, because when you pull, the thread has a tendency to snap, and then you have to start at the beginning all over again. So it is basically just zigzagging between the two. And then pulling it so that they come together. So I'll just pull this, as you can see it comes together, and now I'm going to do the same here, which has, as you can see, a much bigger gap. When I do this one, I do the bottom stitch slightly underneath, the top stitch slightly further out, okay, because when I do that, if I just do a couple for now so that you can see, so underneath the thing and above the thing, okay, when I pull it, it flattens it out, see, again, pull it, you can see it closes the gap, also makes it slightly tapered side instead of such a block. Now, as you can see, it has boobs. Now this, again, these are where the arms will go, but let me just, very poorly demonstrate where the arms will go, because obviously none of them stuffed. As I said, I don't put the arms on until the body is completely dressed and the head is on. It's easy to put a head on when you don't have the arms on. So at the moment it's going to look like an elephant. But still, this is the initial start. As you can see, the shape, Voodie Beauty shape. Just realise I'm showing a white thing on a white thing because I'm that good at demonstrating stuff. Anyway, my main tip for this stage of the thing is it is more important for the stitching to be strong than for the stitching to be pretty. Nobody is going to see this unless they actually cut the clothing off the doll. The legs were done in 2 separate pieces and then sewn together. That is just a basic gathering stitch. They're the same way you would do if you were making a wider skirt, a flowy skirt, and you were gathering the waistband in to fit. So this is a basic American football rugby ball shape with just tubes, literal tubes stuffed. It helps if you don't stuff them until they're rigid. You have a bit of give, or have make them a bit squishy, and that is the torso with legs. I wish I was better at explaining stuff. Everything I do, I taught myself. I watch other people do it and then I copy it, and I will adjust. If I find a way that works better for me, I will do it that way and then stick with that. Just because somebody does something a certain way doesn't mean you have to rigidly stick to it. If you find a way that works better for you, that gets the same result, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Okay? Next stage will be the feet. No, it won't. It'll be the dressing. It'll be dressing because, along with the arms and everything, I dress the doll. When I say dress the doll, is I literally sew the clothes on. I will make the dress independently, the body of the dress independently, but the trousers are sewn on, and the arms, the fabric will be put on this and then sewn on, and then hands and feet. So the next stage of this is dressing it. If you want this to be a bit smoother or have a more uniform appearance, you can cover it in a nude tight or stocking and tie it off at the top, because it doesn't matter here because that's where the head will go anyway, and then it will give it slightly smoother. But as I said, the clothes are sewn on, nobody's going to see this. The most important thing is nothing falls off. Anyway, maybe I'll get better at explaining things the more I do this. Take care.